When that happens,
You know what? That would have
oh,
solved my problem this
I guess
morning.
I guess
oh,
we're live.
I'm all sparkly today.
I love Eddie's warning.
Yeah, I didn't even hear it. I was busy talking about
I'm tuned to it. You know how like as a parent.
Is that an ugly sweater contest we're having?
I don't know. That's something Eddie drew on last week's agenda, and then I was going to use last week.
I dressed for it. Well, maybe now, but it's sparkly.
All right.
In Christmas.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to another episode of. I can't do it. I don't know how people do the accent thing. Welcome to another episode of Shenanigans, our second in the morning.
Good morning, Bev, John. Yeah.
And I have this awesome agenda from last week that does not have any of the new stuff I want to say on it. Before I forget, the shop will be closed from that week after Christmas to I think the 3rd. I have to look at a calendar. Because I didn't write anything down.
What?
What?
We're closed?
Yeah.
We're not.
I should have planned a vacay. Wait, all the kids are coming today.
Yeah,
all the kids are coming this weekend, and I find out from my daughter-in-law. Yeah, I hear all the big kids are coming in this weekend, and that means big kids and their dogs. I said, well, I know Brenda's got room in her house.
I do. One room.
You got plenty of room for all the dogs.
No dogs.
No.
I already have 3.
But yeah, we are going to be closed that week after Christmas because we'll have to recover from Christmas, and we generally just kind of take a week off.
I'm not even gonna.
27th.
No, we're going to be closed on Saturday too, the 1st. So the 27th to the 3rd, I believe. Is the 3rd a Tuesday?
Wow, that's so cool. I need a
The
break.
4th. Okay. So that means I get.
We would do it
The good news is I'll get my birthday off. Oh, and then somebody was saying we should. We need to plan a Christmas party, which I haven't even thought about because everyone's like, "You haven't shop Christmas party this year."
There's too many Christmas
Yeah,
parties in
we'll
my
figure
life
that
right
out.
now.
Maybe we'll send an email out. Who knows? So that's not shop news because that's not planned yet.
This is how we have our meetings.
Yes,
This is what we do, right? We
now that
plan
we're doing it in the morning, yes. The other thing
How we
is
do
we
it.
will be starting a block of the month in January. I believe we have it on the calendar for the 17th. I will be getting pictures up here shortly of that because we were reworking the picture with the fabric we're going to use.
Is that Frosty?
No, that's the
That's
the other one. Yes. Frosty has started. We have
Not really.
Not really. We're going to really kick Frosty off right
in January.
In January.
What's happening on Frosty is Bev, bless her heart, has now become my guinea pig. So I feel like I should be paying her because she's testing everything and I'm testing everything and I'm still not happy. So
January.
sorry, Bev.
We're gonna kick Frosty off for real in January. And like I said, we've got the block of the month starting in January. We don't really have any classes between here and the new year. I mean, we've only got a couple weeks left. And
Bev wants a sale for your birthday.
yes, we'll probably do a birthday sale because that's just what we've always done. If I'm gonna deprive you all of a Christmas party, I should probably at least have a sale of some sort.
Hi, Deb. Good morning.
On that note, let's look at the new fabric that came in last week.
Yeah, let's do that. This gets more and more crowded here.
Well, we got a bunch of stuff on here today.
I know.
Which probably doesn't help that I have my.
Well, I
mess.
didn't need to put all my stuff up
Well,
here, but I did.
It helps.
Let me move it.
So this came in. This is the main piece. This is a really fun. I love the rabbit, and I love. Oh, you don't have the raccoon on there. Is the raccoon here?
Oh my God.
There's the raccoon.
Who's
I
that
love
by?
The fox is a little kind of creepy looking. The rest of them are kind of cool.
Who is this?
This is a free spirit. The designer is Rachel Hauer.
Free spirit.
But I really love. Like I said, the animals are fantastic. The scale's kind of nice on it if you want to do some fussy cutting. And then here are the coordinates. Here's just kind of a,
There,
the
that's
field
really
that all the
pretty.
animals are playing in.
I find you a big quill.
And then you've got acorns.
Nuts. We
Nuts.
did nuts.
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 These nuts. Owls, because everybody loves owls.
Who doesn't love an owl, right?
And then we've got a nice orange or yellow. I'm sorry, it's a yellow.
It's like a
Uh,
marigold.
Yeah, but it's a nice
Dandelion.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like those
yeah, the
puffy
dandelion. Yeah, in
dandelions.
the field.
that
So
you
it's
grow.
we've got what five bolts. So
Pretty.
you've got enough there to kind of do some interesting stuff. It's really a lot of fun. Like I said, the animals are scaled really nice if you want to do
Hey,
some fussy cutting.
Lynn.
But anyway, that's what came in new last week for fabric.
Hi,
And
Deanna. Hi.
We just got
Deanna tried to tune in last Thursday. night.
last Thursday night. She's like, oh, I wasn't there. Batting also just came in because I know some people had stopped by yesterday looking for batting, and last week, and we were really short on it. I just got 8 cases of batting in, so if you're looking for some last minute batting, it's here. We're not taking any more quilts for Christmas unless you really come in and plead your case, because I've got a lot I got to get done between now and next Friday, because I thought I had another week before Christmas, and then
Then
so
you
it was-
looked at the
it- those-
calendar.
No, that's
Penny-
what I'm saying too.
Penny
what
was
happened?
Penny stopped in yesterday, and she's like, "Well, you know, Christmas is next Friday, or Saturday." And I'm like,
please.
"Nah." And I looked at the calendar, like, "It is." And then
It
I looked
is.
at my stack of quilts, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So I'm
Oh,
gonna be here till
yeah.
midnight for a few nights.
Oh
but
my, oh my.
So, yes.
But if you sweeten him up enough, he'll do it. I just know.
Yeah. Honestly, as long as it's not like a ginormous king size quilt, we can probably get it in. But that's not to say come drop 7 baby quilts on me. But yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, like I said, big thing to keep in mind. We are going to be closed that week after Christmas, and then we've got a lot of stuff that we're planning on getting started in the new year. So, yay! That's all. That's all I got for.
Yay!
That's all I've got for news. So I'm
Yay!
gonna turn over to Becky
Okay,
for
wow.
quiz time.
It is. And this is an easy quiz,
Quiz?
okay? First, I have to give a shout out to my granddaughter, Adriana.
Oh, did she come up with it for us?
Well, no, she rode in her very first little horse show Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Froze my little fanny off watching it, but I was very proud of her. She took third.
Nice.
So,
Aw.
yay, Adriana! Grandma, of course, very thrilled by that.
Okay, I have to ask, just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Is youth or little people or child horse equestrian events, is that the scam that like ballet is, where you've got to like take this class and then
Well, she
pay
does. She does that too. I don't look at it that way. She doesn't have to buy into their costumes and
Well, I just
you
find
know, like when she
Depends
does
on where you
Yeah.
go.
when she does her dance routines, she'll
Yeah,
do
but-
two competitions all year, and it costs this much money for each outfit, and each thing.
Yeah.
But she loves being on stage,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Graham's living
I
a
understand,
life
I'm just saying
through
that.
Adriana. So
I always just thought ballet was the biggest, because you got to pay for the classes,
you do,
then you got to pay for the costume,
yes,
and
you do.
then you have to pay to go watch
go
what
watch.
you paid for them to do.
and get a
Yes, you
hotel
do.
Yeah.
and this and that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you do.
I was
The
wondering if-
horse thing was this
Well, I mean,
was
it's a horse, so it's probably expensive
was-
enough without the scam.
No, this is a small. It was a small closed stable event, private.
Oh, nice.
They were showing off everything they had learned,
Oh, cool.
and so their horses belong to the stable. They get a horse as part of their lesson.
Nice.
And so actually, I felt it was like a wonderful event.
That
and
actually
it
sounds
was-
kind of fun, yeah.
And it was neat for her because it was her first time to show off her
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
So and she
She's
looked,
gonna do some barrel jumping and some.
she wants
some,
to she
some,
wants
some
she
lassoing.
wants to do the horse tricks, which would be good because she does gymnastics and dance, and she wants to.
So she's gonna be one of those people that, like
that
in the.
stands on the horse.
She's gonna be like in Cirque du Soleil, standing on her hands, shooting the
Yeah.
bow with her feet while she's
Yeah.
riding around on her
Yeah,
horse.
she
Awesome.
wants to do horse tricks.
Yeah.
That's what her goal
I-
is.
I
want-
like the arrow.
Yeah, I knew a guy that was gonna be a rodeo clown.
Move along.
Okay,
Anyway.
so this is what. Love you, Ed.
I love that. I love
Great
that I
job.
had to do the graphic twice because we got so sidetracked. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, it's me. Oh, the quiz.
We can talk
I
about
give
my haircut.
shout
My
out.
haircut looks pretty good on there.
It does look
God,
pretty
yeah.
good. Did you notice I stopped coloring my hair?
Oh, so you're gonna go for that?
I'm checking out.
I didn't see-
Adriana's having a fit.
The hair color in your hair?
No, you see, I get gray hairs
It's gonna show
everywhere.
you wisdom.
You gonna look like nature?
I'm hoping it looks as nice as yours, but I don't think it will.
Nice
But we're going to
face.
find out.
Nice face.
Okay, yeah. Quiz time. Last week, we showed off some beautiful new backings that we got in. Really pretty new backings. they're special because they feel really nice.
Did we show those off?
We did. And who were they from?
Oh, this is easy.
I said it was
Because
easy.
everybody was waiting for those.
Who were those backings from? This is my Tina face.
Your Tina face? Tina like your sister Tina?
Yeah.
With your, with your kitten wrists? Or that, I guess that's T-Rex arms.
Do we?
To
the bank! Yay!
So Jean wins.
Has Jean won before?
I don't think so.
I think we have a new winner.
Nice.
$10 GC waiting for you here. 4 Pines Quilting, a.k.a. FPQ.
Yes, FPQ.
It's FPQ. That's the modern way to say it.
The modern way?
Ah,
Modern?
modern.
Modern?
Modern.
Can you say modern?
If I really try.
Okay. I just have to give you.
I know.
I just, it's fun. Because that's what we do.
I know.
Like
I know.
Like I
All
said.
right.
Okay. So
There.
moving on.
Yay!
Turbo tip.
We
Yay!
like
Yeah.
winners.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So turbo tip. Today, not turbo tip.
No, it wasn't
Quilt of the
loaded,
week.
Jean, but good guess.
Quilt of the week. That's what we're doing next.
Quilt of the week.
Chosen by Eddie.
Oh my, I'm coming
And
apart.
because Eddie helps me on the long arm now, so we had this one on there, and he's like, I want the rabbits as quilt of the week.
Oh, they
It
are
has cute. It has cute little bunnies in
oh,
there.
they are cute with their little cotton tails.
Yeah. It's just a fun quilt. I mean, fun pattern. I mean, it's not nothing too.
No, it's just.
But it's just.
But I like the little bunnies.
Yeah, it's got some cute little
they're
bunnies in it.
cute. Very cute.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job
Yeah,
with it.
nice
and so,
job.
And so Eddie helped me pick out the pattern. I don't know if you can see it.
Do
I
you
don't
know whose quilt it is?
Yeah, it's,
the first name.
Jean.
Jean,
Yeah.
quilt of the week. Don't like red.
Now, can you go focus in on that, Eddie, so you can show them? I don't know if it shows up on there, but we have this awesome little bunny pattern that we put on
Oh yeah, now I see it.
there. So yeah, we had a lot of fun
Yep.
with the rabbits.
Yep.
But anyway, that's a quilt of the week.
I have a lot of fun with rabbits too.
Yeah. Somehow I think there's more to that
Danny,
joke than I
wait, you
realized.
missed that.
I'm sorry.
Totally.
I'm putting the $10 on
That was put out there just for you. You blew
I was
it.
gonna say that makes me think there's way more to that joke than I realize.
Okay, what was it?
She said she has a lot of fun with rabbits.
Oh, okay.
That's what she said.
All right, so that brings us to Turbo Tip. Do we have a Turbo Tip?
I do, and this one is one I really like and am using right now because with Frosty, I recommended that we use a sticky back stabilizer. Y'all know what that is? That's the stuff you put in the hoop and then you score it and you peel the stuff away and you're left with sticky. It's probably the most expensive stabilizer out there. So we really hate to waste. So Danny, this one's for you.
Okay.
Because I hoop one piece. I actually go around and cut this stuff too because it gets in the way of getting under the needle and everything. Then I do my whatever I gotta go, but I don't unhoop it and
Good
start
girl.
over again. Because this stuff is too much money. What you do instead, who took my cutter?
I don't know. We don't touch anything in
Oh,
here.
phew, it's right here.
This is
I
like-
was
this-
ready to get
This is like
angry.
this is forbidden territory behind here.
Yeah,
We
there's
even
guys.
have a rope.
Yep,
We
there's a
do have a
rope.
row. So
And-
what I do is I then just cut out whatever chunk I need.
Oh, that's fantastic because it's already stickiness.
Yeah, so this isn't very pretty, but
I do that with Caroline.
but then how do you stick it on?
You tape it in?
Tearaway isn't expensive. Oh, fuck. Danny says I do it with tearaway too. I glue it on. Well, tearaway is not as expensive as this, so I do not.
Yeah, because tearaway is what? 15, 20 bucks a roll. This
Yeah.
stuff, the big roll is like
So-
60 bucks on this stuff.
You know, so then I just cover my hole.
That's what she said.
And then
Alright.
and then I manhandle it.
That's what she said.
And I rub and I rub and I rub until
Cut it out.
it's happy.
Rub it
Oh my God.
And after I know it's really feeling it and it's happy,
That's what she said.
I then peel this off and I'm good to go.
You're amazing.
Oh, shush.
No, seriously.
No, I never would have thought of that. That's a
And
fantastic
I'm good
idea.
to go. And hey, and go and go and go. Because who likes to hoop this stuff anyway? This is
Exactly.
no fun to hoop either because it's so stiff. And I like to trim it like this. I would trim even more because when you stick it in, it goes.
Why wouldn't
like
you, if you're gonna do that a bunch of times,
Yeah.
just take like your magnetic hoop and put it to the back of that and throw it on?
Because what happens with this is the purpose of this is I have to come in and out of the
Oh,
machine.
okay, yeah. There's no- oh, yeah.
I've stitched some registration marks on
Oh,
here.
yeah, so you wouldn't want it to
and,
slide.
And I'm having to match something already up to it. It's for multi-hooping.
Yeah.
And if I use a magnetic hoop, it could move.
Yeah, I got you. Makes sense.
Now they do make some magnetic hoops actually
They're-
where you stick this to the bottom of the hoop. Now I might
Yeah.
be able to do that.
Yeah, because I know for the,
I don't know if we can use that on these machines. but
well,
I-
they make them for they do make them for the 10 needle.
Yeah, that's
that,
where
that
I
they're
have
specific
them.
for that. I'd have to see. Yeah, that's what made me I wonder about it.
Yeah, but you still have to fill a hole.
Yeah.
So hoop it once,
All
fill
right.
it up, and you're good to go.
Nice. Okay, so
turbo
moving on.
tip.
Yay for the turbo tip. Okay, now to the workbench. This is actually just a historical bit because people said they kind of
Oh yeah,
like
what
them.
happened to the history?
You've missed that episode?
No, I watched it, and then I guess we just happened.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to talk because
just
because
happened.
you get something that the question sometimes comes up.
This is-
I have this fantastic old machine. Want to zoom in on that, Eddie? Because it says it's a White's, and if you look very carefully under there, it says rotary. And White's rotary was super popular forever. It was like, why? What's a White's rotary?
White rotary.
White's
Why don't you
White's-
go over here so I'm
Oh, you're
not in your way.
So White's claim to fame is they came up with a rotary bobbin, and I just wanted to show you what that means because I'm not going to demonstrate on that machine a rotary bobbin because everybody knows what a rotary bobbin is because your machine now is a rotary bobbin. Want to go to this camera here, Eddie? The rotary bobbin was a huge improvement because if you look here, this is what bobbins originally looked like. They're a shuttle bobbin. So you see how that goes back and forth?
That looks like a weapon.
That oscillates back and forth, and this mechanism right here, that's your shuttle, which is your bobbin case. And if I can,
So it's like a loom. Like
yeah,
they came
that's
from
that
the loom
the
theory.
that was the
Oh.
design behind it. So that's your bobbin case.
It's like a bullet.
So there's your bobbin case there. If I zoom out a little bit, so I'm not giving people. So that's your bobbin case, and that's what your bobbin looked like.
I never knew that was a bobbin. I have some of those,
Yep.
and I thought they were like spools of thread.
Yep, no, that's your bobbin, and so that's when they talk about a White's rotary, that's White kind of pioneered that. That was their kind of claim to fame because they moved away from this shuttle bobbin.
Now, why? Why did people want to move away from that?
I believe that I didn't get too deep into that, but I can tell you, just from trying to research. I've got an old machine I was trying to get going, an old Howe, and it has a shuttle bobbin. And then you do a little research. There's 6 different shuttle bobbins in about a 3-year time, shuttle case that fit that machine. One of the things that the rotary bobbin did is it standardized your bobbin, and you didn't have to worry about this case shape. There's a lot of development that went into the different case shapes for the bobbin case and the shuttle case. So what the rotary bobbin is it kind of standardized that and made that a little bit more reliable, I think. I didn't get too deep into that research. I can tell you though that like I said, just from what I've known trying to find parts, these vary widely. My other suspicion is, like I said, there's reliability issues. I think your tension issues is easier to deal with. And I mean, just loading it is easier. I mean, you can see how this is such a pain to get in there and lined up
Now,
properly.
is this missing something, or is that how this machine was designed?
That's how this machine was designed. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. One of the ways you can tell if you got a really old machine.
It has missing pieces?
No, it's square. You see how this is really blocky and chunky?
Yeah.
You're going to usually see that on older machines. As machines got newer, this piece here got a lot more ornate and rounded and nicer. This is a Minnesota. I haven't done a lot of research on this machine, who made it, but I'm sure it's just one of your standard machines. But like one of the things you will find is if this is squared off here, a lot of times it's going to be an older machine because as they got newer, this got a lot more ornate. This is, like I said, this is a really interesting machine because it's a little bit different than like a Singer or but
Cool.
you know, tension. I mean, it's got all the basics of what you even have on a new on a newer machine, but like the needle bar is kind of a bizarro. This is just an interesting one we came across.
That's a good question. Jean says, how do you wind that bobbin?
Um,
Like a spool of thread, maybe?
Well, that's what this is here for. I'll just move over to here. I'm going to switch cameras, Eddie, because I can see what I'm doing on this end now. So this is your bobbin winder right
Hey,
here.
Victoria.
So the bobbin fits right between these two nubs here, and then this here would tighten it down. And then your thread would go into that little notch right there. And this, when the bobbin winder is engaged, I don't think I've got it engaged. When the bobbin winder is engaged, this will oscillate back and forth if I had this all tuned. Well, yeah, you can see it.
So that's the shuttle bobbin winder area.
Yeah, the bobbin goes right in there, then this right, like I said, then your thread would go there, and that would oscillate back and forth to make sure that you
Oh,
get an even wind on your bobbin.
interesting.
So it's a little bit more complicated too to wind your bobbin on this thing. You can just see there's gears and all sorts of extras, where if you look at a regular bobbin winder, it's a little, it slams up against the wheel and goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, like I said, that was one of the big improvements. Obviously it was important because that happened around the turn of the century, and nobody's looked back to these to this at all. So that so I just wanted to cover that. I just thought it was kind of an interesting little, you
I
know,
had no
given
idea
how that we did a
really.
bunch of history.
Shuttles.
But that's why
Shuttle
when you
box.
see White's rotary, it's a reference to the bobbin, and that, like I said, that was an advancement that everybody eventually moved over to the rotary bobbins. But for a while there, that's how White's got it. You know, its claim to fame, White's rotary bobbins. So yeah, that's.
All right, cool beans.
You know what we never did, Eddie?
Turn on my machine.
We never plugged the machine in.
Well, that's all right. There's a cord somewhere. I think.
I think I've plugged it in on one end, just not the other. But
It's
no.
plugged, yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
Got it.
It's all right. Maybe they don't want to see what I got anyway.
All right, so
a
that's
cool
what I've got.
workbench.
So,
I learned something, Brent. I like it when I learn something. I always learn something.
all right, so then I guess we're going to get into whatever funness you got planned.
Well, actually, I want to remind everybody about these envelopes that I've talked about before. And you see how I'm using it for my blocker of the month. Remember I talked about
Yeah.
using these to hold stuff? Well, they come in handy with Frosty Goes to
Are
Town.
they at the dollar store?
I don't know, but Danny will find out and let us all know, won't you,
isn't
Danny?
it like $1 and a nickel now because of inflation?
Not yet. Last week I went, it was still $1.
Okay.
So it's gonna happen.
It's going to
$1.25.
happen. Speaking of going to happen, did you hear Hobby Lobby? They're going to compete with us. They're raising their starting wage to $18.50. I'm going to go get a job at the Hobby Lobby.
Good for
Especially
them.
if I get some discount on purchases there. Get $18.50 starting wage over at Hobby Lobby.
Well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say $18.50.
That's a pretty good deal. Maybe I'll go work over there.
I
and
was
do
going
this
to say,
as-
why are we doing this?
Because it's way more fun.
Why? Okay, so,
And then when the Hobby Lobby employees come over here and buy stuff, I've got a couple that'll come over on their lunch break and, oh, they're slave drivers. I got to get back there. It can't be
oh,
that bad.
actually, Danny, my friend, would you mind going and getting one of the Christmas stockings that is hanging? I meant to pick it up and I didn't. So
Did you need to sit here, or am I pushing buttons?
you can turn it on. We're going to be going into Design Center first,
Okay.
but what I wanted to do is show what I'm making. People often ask how I did the Christmas stocking, which Danny's grabbing.
Yep.
It came originally off a Kimberbell CD. Here's another one. Okay, good, thank you. What I'm talking about is, this is, oh, that's okay, Ed, I can go down. This is an example. Now, the Kimberbell CD does not have this flange on it, nor does it have what I call a faux cuff, nor does it have a lining. So people look the CD and they say, how the heck did you get from point A to point B? The process of enlarging it, we can hear you talking.
Oh, sorry.
The process of enlarging it is step one. Also, step 2, you'll notice we did a quilted back. That's simply mirror imaging the front, quilting it again, and just not doing the decorative part of it. So that's no biggie. Then I cut pieces to make the flange.
Flan? I thought flan
It's a flange.
was pudding.
It's a flange.
Flange?
It's a flange.
Flange.
That's this.
That like
It's a
target?
1-inch strip, okay, that's going to get folded in half and stitched on here, right? No biggie. See, here's my back, here's
Yeah.
my front. The question is, how did she create that cuff? That's what I get all the time. Where did that cuff come from? And it was created in Design Center. And you can do this, I know you can do it on the Brother, Dream Machine.
You can do it on the Dream Machine. Yeah, the Dream Machine.
Because I just did it, because I don't have a luminaire at home.
Did that board come in yet? They said it should. I don't know.
So I
That's another
thought
conversation.
it would be fun to visit the Design Center, because we haven't in a while, and show you how to create the cuff. The first thing I need to do is determine how big I want my cuff to be. And what I did is measure raw edge to raw edge, 7.5 inches, and then I said, how high do I want to be? You know, this stocking shape is a little different because I was showing. Yeah, it is. I think Ronnie said to me, I like mine shorter and fatter. So I said, all right, I'm going to make you a shorter and fatter version. So that's why this one's shaped a little differently. See, it's, anyway. So, and then I said, okay, let's make the cuff, let's make it finish at 4 inches high, so I'm going to start with 4.5 inches, because I have raw edges to deal with. Does that make sense, everybody? Have I lost anybody yet? We're going to make a rectangle that's 7.5 by 4 inches, 4.5 inches. And that's going to work as a placement stitch on our stabilizer.
And because we're doing this, I was going to say you could turn that rectangle sideways if it didn't fit in your hoop. So if you had a really wide, if you were getting past your 9.5 inches, you could turn it sideways. But if your 7.5 is going to fit, and
When I
any
design,
any
I
machine
don't
that has,
turn it sideways while I'm
but
designing.
what I'm saying is any machine that has a Design Center built into it, you'll be able to do up to 9 inches, 9.5. I'd say
Yeah.
9.25 wide.
I recommend leaving it in the orientation that you see
Yes.
it in, because we can turn it once we get into the embroidery area.
I'm just saying that
We're in the Design Center, it's important to remember, I know what you're saying, but I disagree, so.
no, but what I'm saying, if you got past that, if you got
When
past,
I'm designing, I want to see
yeah,
it
but if you
like
got past
this.
that 9.5, past that 9.5 threshold in Design Center,
Yeah.
it's not going to let you continue. It's going to ask you, do you want to turn it?
Okay,
I'm just
all right, but I'm not, so
I'm just
this
throwing
is
that
what
out
we
there.
do. Okay.
And if you were going to design this, and you wanted to export it so that other people could use it on a smaller machine, you could turn it sideways after it's been designed.
Right, after it's been
yes.
designed. Right now, Design Center is different than embroidery. One of the things that I find people get mixed up about is Design Center doesn't, even though we're assigning stitches, they really don't exist until we move it over to the embroidery.
Yeah.
So what happens is, what I do in Design Center, and I don't know how many of you even know this is here, there's actually a separate memory pocket for components in Design Center. So you can build, and that's how I do it, I can build components in Design Center, see what I like, I can add them together and then bring them over to embroidery, or I can build components and bring them over to embroidery. But you'll notice if you need something over and over again, like this rectangle, you got it. And if you're in Design Center and you go, oh, I need a rectangle, but now I need it 8.5 by 5, start with the one you already made and just enlarge it. If you get into the habit of saving stuff in the Design Center area, there's a little memory thing there, you can go back and forth and pick those up and modify them, unlike if you automatically go in Design Center.
Yeah, right there.
On the Dream Machine is a different button. It's a little arrow thingy thingy,
Yes.
you know.
But it's
But,
gonna be- it's gonna be
but
in
it's
that
down
same-
there,
same-
and they
same
both
location.
have it. And it's a separate pocket. And you can't see it when you're in the embroidery area. You can't see it. It's like this hidden area. But it's great for storing stuff if you get into Design Center, you end up collecting and building subcomponents that you can use again and again and again. So, you are going to make us a
We
rectangle
will make a rectangle.
that is 7.5 by 4.5. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. So what I do is use, they call it I call it shapes. I think if you look it up in your manual, they would call it stamps,
Stamps, yeah.
which I find very confusing.
Well, I think that the stamp comes into place again in the other
No,
shapes up
quilt shop.
there. In Tennessee.
Wow.
Really?
So she's saying you should go do a show there, I think.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So-
Okay,
and so a rectangle is a square.
you start with a square.
Yes.
You do.
Because
you do.
all squares are rectangles, but not all
Right.
rectangles are squares.
Right, and all we're looking
You're
at
a
here,
square.
all we want is something, we don't need it a filled square at this point, we just need what you're seeing there. We just need
Yeah, because
the
this is going to give you a
outline.
filled square, and this is going to give you a square, a filled square with an outline.
Outline. All I want is an outline.
So we have
For
outline
this one.
highlighted, so I'm going to hit OK. And now we want to size it into a,
Danny, could you hook me up, just stabilizer,
big,
8 by 12?
the magnetic
6 by
hoop.
10? Nope.
No. There should be a 9 by 9 over there.
Oh,
a
no,
square.
6 by 10 would work.
Okay, 6 by
6
10.
by 10 will work.
But then you have to turn it sideways.
That's okay.
All right. So
Okay.
we brought our square in.
Yes, now that's not the right size.
Yes, but one thing I just want to point out, the way that Design Center works is when you first bring it in, you can manipulate the square individually if there's other things on there.
Mm-hmm.
Once you move off of that square, it flattens everything and it becomes part of any components you have behind it. So I'll always make sure.
That's why I'm building it by component. That's
Yes.
exactly why.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna hit size, and then I'm gonna do, we want 7, you said?
7.5.
So the arrows go out, so I'm just gonna,
Is that showing up okay? People
Yeah.
can see that?
do I need to zoom in a little bit, or is it good? Good, okay.
We're changing the size of it by
Yeah,
choosing.
because you can see up here the size, as I hit this, it goes a little bit bigger.
Someday Brother's gonna let us just type in the sizes.
I'm hoping.
This arrow click
And
thing
then, so
drives me
we've got our
nuts.
width hit, and then how tall is it?
4.5.
4.5, so we're gonna hit this one here, and bring it down to, our numbers are 4.5.
This is why I say save components, because it's kind of a pain in the buttinsky to do all this.
So there you go. So you see up here, our rectangle is now 4.5 by 7.
7.5, and you see on the screen, it sort of looks like that.
And it looks like that, so I'm
Right,
gonna hit
say okay.
And then I'm gonna hit memory.
Actually, I was not gonna have you hit
Okay, no,
memory
I'm not gonna
yet.
hit memory, but that's
I
what-
want you to assign stitches to it next. Because
Okay.
right now, it's just a
block, it's a box.
block,
Yep.
a box. And now we want to assign stitches to it because I want it to work as a placement stitch on my stabilizer that tells me where I'm going to put my batting down, because there is batting in
Okay.
here, all right? So now we want to assign stitches to it.
So this is line, there's two things to keep in mind on the Design Center. This bottom portion is usually fill areas, the top portion is usually lines. So we want to assign a line to that, so we're going to change our line property, and we want to do a running stitch because
Right.
we're just doing a placement
And
stitch.
unfortunately, on our machines, we cannot choose a single running stitch. Hopefully someday they will, but we have to do a double. There's no option.
I think doesn't the Dream Machine do a single?
No,
okay.
no. I don't know why, but that's all we got as an option, so that's what we choose.
So we're going to hit that. And now one thing
But while you're on the screen, for those of you who are doing applique work,
yeah.
you see the blanket stitch on there,
Yeah.
and also that one, well, I call it it's almost like a blind hen stitch. Highly recommend that stitch if you don't want your, let's say you're using a transparent thread.
Yep.
What's it called? Help me out. You know, the
Invisifill?
kind of Invisifill.
Yep.
That little is fantastic.
Okay.
The little
Chevron?
mountain one,
Mhm.
the mountain one.
Yeah.
It looks like a blind hem to me. That's fantastic for applique work when you don't want it to show.
And one of the things I always do whenever I change my stitch property is I always like to choose a different color other than black.
I tend to use a different color all the time because if
Yeah.
I'm building it in embroidery, I
Mhm.
want the colors.
The color change,
I
yeah.
mean, I can go and change them there too, but
But, well, the reason I like to do a color change, so I'm going to change it to red, then you can really,
see it.
yeah, because now you'll see now we want to change, then I'm going to hit this bucket here, which is going to be our line fill property. And if I tap this line, you see how it just turned, I don't know if you saw it on there, but it just turned red.
So we know
So-
we have stitches
Yeah,
assigned.
so we know that the change that we wanted to happen took place because it turned red.
Right.
All right,
Okay.
so we
Now-
got that done.
I want you to hit next.
Next? What are we looking for?
This, I guess you can hit memory on the other machine, on the screen too. On the on the Dream
Dream Machine,
Machine,
you
we
have-
cannot.
Yeah.
That's, and I was working on that, so I had to go. Now, what just happened there, guys, is it did not save it as an embroidery thing. It did not. It saved it in that special little area of Design Center.
It's still in the Design Center format.
Thank you.
Um,
It's not a stitchable thingamaboo at
So
this
if-
point.
so
It's
if
a
you-
component.
So if
I
you,
love your vocabulary.
so if you actually saved it to a USB from here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you took that USB and plugged it into another machine, it would have no idea what you just did. Because
Correct.
this is it.
But it's important if you're building components in
Yeah.
Design
Now,
Center.
if
This
you-
is one
if-
you would use again.
If you
and
brought it
again.
to another machine and opened up Design Center, you could
Uh-huh.
import it, but you cannot bring it up as an embroidery file from here.
Okay, so go back. But we're going to say set.
I'm gonna say that, we're not gonna do anything else with it?
Not, I'm building components.
Okay.
Now, no, what? Oh,
Oh,
that message was very important that he just blew by.
well, watch what's gonna happen.
We're going to get it again. We're going to get it.
Oh, where do I pull out of my, memory up here.
What's going to happen? That's the special memory.
Yeah.
I didn't want to cover that yet.
Well, I'm just gonna get us back to here so you can get your message.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hit set. Okay.
All right. What's happening? This is the point where it's actually converting it to a PES file, where it's actually converting it to something that we can embroider with. The reason you're going to get this message is it's going to say, hey, you're leaving Design Center, so that's not going to be saved. So if you didn't save it in your memory and you're going to want to use it later, you're not going to be able to.
Yes.
Okay, that's what this warning is. We did save it in memory.
Which is why I was
in
able-
the Design Center.
Which is why I was able to pull it up after I screwed this up.
Exactly.
Save often.
Because you lucked out. Okay, so now we say okay
So I'm gonna hit okay.
because we're converting it to
Now this
embroidery.
and this screen should look really familiar to lots of people.
Right, but it does not do that on the Dream Machines. You have to actually choose embroidery. It doesn't automatically go over there,
Really?
really.
What do you mean?
It doesn't see how you have embroidery on there now?
Yeah.
The Dream Machine doesn't take you here
Oh, you gotta-
automatically. I've got one more step.
Yeah,
I have to
kinda
push
gives-
another button.
It kind of gives you like a preview on the Dream
Oh,
Machine.
it- yeah.
should upgrade.
Yeah, they should.
Well,
But-
no,
but-
the Dream Machine is basically a preview, and then you just hit OK to get to the next
But
screen.
now I want you to go into embroidery for a second. I want them to see what you actually have over here. You actually have a square that will stitch out.
And red thread.
And it would be a placement stitch, okay? Now what I want you to do is I want to save this. Now when I'm hitting memory, my friends, I am saving it as an embroidery file.
Yes.
Now this is a placement stitch of this size or a rectangle of this size that I can use again and again. And guess what? I need it twice on this project. I need it once as a placement stitch, then I'm going to use it again when I adhere my fabric.
So what we're going to do is we
So,
go to edit,
ta-da! No, we're not editing. No, why are you editing?
because I'm just going to copy it.
No, I don't want you to do any of this yet. We're going back to Design Center. We have more components to build.
But if you got to do your placement stitch,
No.
okay,
We're
okay.
doing building components first.
All right, we're going to go back to add.
Okay, so everybody, we built one rectangle,
And-
7.5 by 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going back into Design Center.
And now to get back to Design Center, you hit add. Don't hit home because that's going to delete what you just did.
Not on the Dream Machines. On the Dream Machine, I've got to go back into Design Center by choosing Design Center.
Yes,
Yes.
but don't hit home is what I'm saying. If you hit the home button, it's going to erase everything and bring it back
On the Dream
home.
Machine, you do have to hit home. Oh well, we'll find out.
I'm going to go,
I know, now it's a
suspicious.
competition. I
I'm
had to figure it out on the
suspicious.
Dream
All right,
Machine.
next on
That's
Brent.
crazy.
So anyway, so we hit add, and now we're going to go to My Design Center.
Yeah, see, we're in.
Yeah.
I would not have hit add yet because I'm trying to teach them building components. Then we're going to build our embroidery. Just
But
stay with
you
me.
said
Stay
you
with
said
me.
you said go back to Design Center, so I did.
Okay, well,
Am I
clicking add is something different.
then what? Then going back to Design Center?
Yeah. I don't want to build my embroidery yet. I want
I
to
know.
just teach them components.
I know.
Okay. Well, when you
Oh, I see. So you.
when you click add, you're adding components
So-
to an existing embroidery.
But that's okay. I guess that's what I'm saying. I thought we were going to add to that rectangle. We're not going to do anything with that rectangle right now.
No. We just create.
So we're gonna.
You
So,
know she's different.
so I'm just going to delete
You're
that right
making
now.
it more complicated.
Okay.
People, back to
Okay.
Design Center. What else do I
Hold
need
on.
to
Let me just make.
accomplish?
Isn't it a coffee break? Don't you need some coffee?
No,
right
no.
now?
I'm just trying to. I just want to be clear real quick. So you don't care what we make now. We're not going to add to what we just did.
Bev, your question, when you save in Design Center, it is not the same pocket that you're thinking of. It is not. You were thinking of the pocket over in Embroidery Land.
Yeah.
The B pocket that we see. It's two different areas
Yes.
on your machine.
Yes.
There's the save it in Design Center, and it's not, quote, translated to an embroidery file at that
Yeah.
point. And then there's, I bring it over to the embroidery center, and I can save it there, and now it's an embroidery file. And I'm telling you, I do it in both places. One, so
Yeah.
I can re-edit, which we're going to do. We're going to go back in
Okay.
Design Center. Duh.
I-
And we're going to
okay.
create another rectangle, only this rectangle is going to be 4 by 7. And why? Because that's where my batting line is going to
Okay.
be.
So
I am now
your
completing
work
a batting
your
line.
workflow is different than mine. So we'll do it your way.
Surprise.
I,
Surprise.
I see now what you're doing. So I'm just
Okay.
gonna get there.
Read the shortcuts, Brent. She does not.
She's adding an extra step that makes sense from a simplicity standpoint. I understand why you're doing
Just
it.
do what I say.
No, I get what you're doing now.
Have
And
I
it-
lost anybody?
So I'm going to do the same thing we just did.
Yes, we lost 100 people that were lost.
I'm building the components that I will then put back together. That's what I'm doing. So the next component I need is a rectangle that's going to say,
Bless you.
I'm tacking your batting down, and it gives you a trim line, and you want it to be half-inch smaller top and bottom because I don't want batting in
And that makes
in
sense.
my seam allowances.
Yeah. So if we go back here, so I just made a rectangle. Same thing we just did. That's 4 by 7. So I'm going to do
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit OK, and then again we're going to change the.
Assigned stitches.
So we're going to change it to a running stitch, and
Give it a different color.
we're going to give it some other than red.
Yep.
So we're going to go yellow. We're going to do the line fill. It's now yellow. We hit what you can't see on the screen, but next.
Okay.
And I'm going to
Then
say
memory.
I'm saving that one to memory as well,
Yep.
and then I'm going to set.
And when he says set, this is what translates it now to an embroidery
Yes.
file. Now I want you to save it here
Then we're going to save here again.
in memory. This memory is not the same as the Design Center memory.
Yes, they're
It
two
is
different
two
files.
different areas inside your machine.
Now the conversation that me and Becky were just having about add versus start over is if I had stuck to the add that I had done, we would have the previous rectangle already in there.
And I don't want to
And I
right
underst-
now.
and I understand what
I'm
you're
teaching them
saying.
how to build
Yes.
components that could be reused again and again
Yes.
and again.
Yes,
That's all.
I got you.
Not just for this.
Because if we had added, then when we put this in memory, we would actually have both of those in
And
there.
we're going to build it after.
Yeah, that's
so,
like, yeah.
So now I've got a 4.5 by 7.5. I've got a 4 by 7. John is gone. No,
John
sorry.
has left the building.
What else do I need? I need the quilting stitch. Right?
Yeah, you want to put your cross hatching in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to Design Center we're going to go.
So you
We're
got
going to build
home.
a quilting stitch. And this quilt stitch is going to be the 4.5 by 7.5 filled.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to my memory, and I'm going to pull up the
See?
red one.
See the difference, all that's in memory on this? This is Design Center. See how there's hardly anything in here because this is the first time we've built components. But anytime I come into design, I now have these in there.
And because we did them in different colors, I know the red one is the big one. So I'm going to hit that and hit OK.
So now what we want to do is we want to fill that.
So we come here to area fill, and then we want to use one of our fancy stitches, I imagine.
Yes, go there. We're going to select and see the diamonds there. I want you to choose the diamonds.
The diamonds.
And let's pick a different color for it.
Let's go blue. How's that sound?
Okay.
And then you do area fill,
Yeah.
and then you just tack your area.
Now, that's not the right size for me because those
Now,
are dinky. So we're
A
gonna.
quick question for you.
Yeah.
Are you going to want the outline stitch on this particular stitch?
No.
No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to this. This is a no stitch. I'm going to hit OK, do our line fill, and then tap our outside, and that should turn back to black.
Yeah. I think on that other screen you could have done that in the fill as well. You just choose.
You could have, but I don't know that it would have taken because we already brought in the outline with a running stitch on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You got me on that one.
Now, on the Luminaire, you can make this change on our next screen. You could change that to a no stitch.
Yeah.
On the Dream Machine, you cannot change that to a no stitch on the next screen. That's one of the
Okay.
limitations.
And I didn't, yeah. But let's go to next because we're not done because the
Yeah.
size of that
Yeah.
is not okay.
Yeah, so you can make like there's changes you can make here. Like I said, if we could change that line back to a stitch here if we wanted to.
Right.
But you can't do that on the Dream Machine.
No, you
Line
cannot.
properties are set.
The only thing I really care about on here is the first one where it says size, 100%. I want to blow it up to about 175.
So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to about 175. You said.
Right, and that's just giving me bigger patterns. Now, the Illuminaire previews it beautifully.
Yeah,
for
what you
me.
see is what you get.
The Dream Machine, you are not going to
not.
see the results until you get over into embroidery land.
Yes.
Why? I don't know, but I guess that's why we
It's
pay
got
more
some
money.
some computational issues because you don't
We
have
pay
enough.
more money
yeah.
for the Luminaire. But see how I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across? Literally, what I do is I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks good to me.
Oh.
That's how I determine the size.
You just count it.
I
That's
count
okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I play with my machine, and I happen to know.
You didn't write it down when you did the stopping? Like, I would have assumed you wrote
Well,
it down.
the cross hatching on this
No.
comes in the pattern. It's not the
Yeah,
same.
this
So you're
is from
match-
the CD.
Yeah, you're matching it
No.
different.
And I'm trying to match this as closely as I can for my cuff.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
I didn't redo it.
No. Okay,
Okay.
so back to the machine, please.
So I'm going to put this in memory.
We are. Now notice we're hitting memory before we translate it. Because
Yeah.
now I have this available at this size diamond that I can make any size I want.
Yep.
I can, it's modifiable in the design center. Okay, so now he just translated, did you save it in memory over here?
I'm going to save it in memory here.
Okay, all right. Now, I want you to get rid of it. I want you to go home for a minute so people
Yeah.
can,
Now it's important that you go home because the order in which you bring patterns in is the stitch order. So
It is.
am I going right into memory? Am I?
the first thing we want to bring in is the placement line that we're going to stitch on our stabilizer that's going to tell us where to put our batting down.
Why do I prove everything? So that's going to be our. So there. I don't know. I might hit it twice. Who knows?
Okay, so that's that first stitch, right?
Yeah.
So then picture, I've stitched it out, put my batting down. Now I want the smaller rectangle to tack my batting down.
So I'm going to go into
Add.
add. Yep. I was looking for the pocket. So then we're going to come back down here, and then we know that the yellow is the inside.
Yep. So see what's happening here? Now I stitched my batting and I'm trimming my piece of batting. And then the next thing I want to do is put my material down, right? And then I want to stitch my material down.
So do we want to do
We want to do another big rectangle.
another big rectangle? So I'm going to come over here and grab another red rectangle. Now, do we want to change the color on that or leave it red? I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, it does because I want it to stop, to trim my batting.
Yeah, but
So I
we-
definitely want it to be a different color.
So-
But we can, you want to do that now?
We can just do it real quick.
Okay.
It's easy to do right now because it's on
Okay.
the bottom.
What
Right.
happens on your machine is you want it to stop between each of these steps because I have something I have to do.
Yeah.
That's why.
And so we just changed that to blue so it's not the same color as the first step to make
Which
sure that we,
causes the
yeah,
machine to stop.
yeah.
Okay, so now we need to add our cross hatching.
And there's that.
And now I want to add a name.
But I don't know if that's the same blue as the one above.
Now,
it,
you
so I
could
can change
save
that.
this to memory now, and what you've done is you've created an entire stocking cup that, and then you would just have to add a name to
Yeah.
it.
So you could just hit
So you
memory.
could save that all together now if you wanted, and just very stitchable.
Yeah. And so if you're doing multiple stockings, this is where you'd want to save it.
Yeah, now let's add a name.
All right.
All your stockings are wrong sizes.
Well,
You can modify the size.
Yeah. so what name we putting on this one?
Ronnie.
What font? I like that's my favorite font right there. No? Okay. Which font?
I
you
don't
want
care which font you use.
Did you want to go with this one here?
Whatever font you want.
That looks like a Ronnie font to me.
Okay. Now say
But-
set
I want to go with this instead.
and set, because we can change the size here,
Yeah.
which is what I want to do. That's too small in my cuff, because lots shorter names. I don't want everybody's name. I want it to fit the cup.
Yeah.
So see what we're doing now is, because Ronnie is selected, we are now, yeah, there's a limit to how big we can go.
Yeah, but, that's not, that won't be bad because that's
No.
going to bring out, yeah.
So I don't want to save this, because I don't
Well,
need
yeah,
10
it's
million
not that
Ronnies.
it's not that we don't love Ronnie, but we're only going to make one
But
for you.
let's see, let's just pretend, we need thread. Or
Is
do
there
we
a
have
bobbin
thread?
in there?
There is a bobbin in
Okay.
there. I just want to see, now, you could save this. You could save this if you wanted to.
Some of the little embroidery we good.
Yeah, watch, he just created the custom
Okay, so
cuff.
it says we want to change the larger frame.
Oh, you're gonna rotate it. probably.
But where's the errata? That's what I want to do. Okay.
Tell him what you're doing, Brent.
Well, I was doing an array so that I could rotate everything at once instead of the individual patterns.
Well, just save it to memory, bring it back in, and you can then you're saving it as one fell swoop. You're
Well,
saving
I'm gonna wait before I put the hoop in so it doesn't know that it doesn't like it, and then I'm gonna hit rotate. How's that sound?
There you go.
Because we had a hoop that was too small, it didn't want to use that pattern.
It's a 6x10 hoop. Okay.
Yeah, and now it's gonna center on the 6x10.
Truthfully, with a luminaire, why didn't it just automatically rotate that?
I
Like the
don't
10
know.
needle will rotate
Yes.
it.
These are questions I don't have answers for. And now we need thread.
What color?
Whatever color you've got, I think.
But that's not going to
show.
show.
That'll be perfect.
What did he do without you? Brenda Boo.
I missed you, Brenda.
Mr. Totally missed her. I'm
Have
like,
you seen the store?
Who cleaned the bathroom? Oh, let's go.
Eddie?
I know we emptied the trash. I think that's as far as we got with it.
poor Brenda. She gets all the best jobs.
Should get Riley on that.
Okay, so now can we have the machine again, Ed? Thanks.
Do we want to go to the bed?
Yeah, well, sort of both. I want him to see that what you did, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I want him to see that it's really going to work.
All right, so there you go. I think that gets both of them on there. Kind of.
Ooh,
All right, so we're just going to hit go.
scared me. Yeah, I wonder what happened to your phone. Okay, so what we're doing now is that very first step, right?
Yeah.
If Brent and I did what we were supposed to be doing, what it's doing is it's doing that, we don't have to do the whole thing because it goes around twice. You actually, if you don't need it to go around twice, you can stop it and
Yep.
then skip to the next,
Yep.
which is what we'll do,
Okay.
okay?
Because this is just the placement stitch.
This is telling me where I'm going to put my batting down.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to do it because I don't want to waste my batting.
Well,
because that's not the stabilizer I would use on this
We could
stocking.
use some
That's all I
straps.
had.
So
It's
we-
okay.
So it's going around its second time. I'm just going to stop it.
Right, because we don't need it to. Cut,
And-
cut your
Yeah, and
scissors.
so then I'm just going to go over here
Or
and,
cut thread.
oh, cut thread, yes.
Now, we're going to skip to the next step.
Come on. Well, let me-
You
well,
got to
I'm
hit the
yeah,
needle,
no, I'm
plus or
trying to
minus.
measure
There
that.
you go.
And
Next
that's
step, there we go. This is now going to do the little guy,
The tack down.
the tack down.
Did we want to throw some stabilizer, some batting on there?
Mm, just a second.
Well, we got a piece of scrap right. Look at all that she's got right there. Oh, that'll be nice and puffy.
I really want to finish my stomach,
Do you want to, but you don't want to use the stabilizer?
no,
Okay.
because it doesn't
We'll just,
match.
we'll just, yeah, no, yeah, grab that if you got a small piece.
We can just just stitch
Yeah,
it.
well, we'll just do that because she's.
All right.
We'll do it with some wool. This will be kind of
All
fun.
right,
See what kind of-
okay.
Oh, I can't wait to see the mess this makes.
I'm sorry. You
No,
want
I've
me to
ne-
go look for more?
No, I've never done it with this, so I'm very
yeah,
curious.
you know what? That's going to get hung up on that embroidery needle.
I don't
some
know. Let's
years.
see. I'm curious.
Shouldn't.
Let's all learn something together.
Yay!
That is not good. I would hire my embroidery foot, and if I were at home doing this,
Yeah.
I would I would not stick my fingers in the hoop. I would hire my embroidery
Yep.
foot in settings so that my embroidery foot isn't going to get hung up on
Like,
my little batting.
like this happened.
And if you had a purple thing, it
A
works
purple
real-
thing. Nick,
It
the-
works real well to hold the
Well,
material
you
down in front of
know,
the
we're
foot.
just
Yeah.
throwing it off the cuff today.
I can tell.
So if we're going to do this right,
Well, you already aren't.
well, I know, but you can come over here,
While you're fiddling and diddling, Brent,
and then so if you come over here and you can change your foot height, and we're just going to kick that up to twice the height. Sounds good to me.
you're going to kind of have to untangle it.
I untangled it already, kind of.
Kind of. Nothing back here.
I don't use wool batting in the embroidery hoop, but it's very,
Like if you had something older, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you put some water soluble over the top of it, it'll probably work fantastic.
Oh,
Or
that was
just a
behind you.
tearaway topping or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, the water soluble.
Bottom line is, look what we got. Right?
So far.
What do we got? We
So we're
got
gonna
the little
stop.
rectangle.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna go around the second time to fix that area there.
Okay, well, actually, if you live in Brenda's world, she wants this to be double.
And at this
Because
point,
it's a trim line.
yeah, and actually, I can see that would make sense for a trim
Right.
line.
Yeah, it's a trim line, so she wants it doubled up.
That's right.
And that's why Kimberbell does it now,
Yeah.
because you said so.
I need a scrap of fabric. I'm not letting them use my good stuff. I really want to make this stocking, finish this stocking.
Let's see
And
what
I don't
we
like the
got.
Fonty so.
Well, we could have done a different font, but you didn't like the stabilizer either, so.
No, and I don't want that. So blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so that's.
So that's that. So then you would take it out and you would trim it.
Don't we have scissors in here?
Lord. We're so bad.
Well, we've made it this far.
Go get some.
Hey, can you grab some scissors while you're out there? We're prepared today.
You can say that Jean is asking, do we have a name on it when we saved it in the design? You can, but I don't think we chose to. We chose it without the name and just added the name.
Yeah, we're just gonna add the name.
Because you
Yeah.
can do that very easily in the embroidery part. You don't have to, the funny thing with text is, I don't have to go out to Design Center to create my text. I can do it even with the Dream Machines. I can do that in the Embroidery Center. So I would save my cuff without the name, thinking I'm just gonna, change the name on the cuff for whoever stocking I'm making. Hope that answers that question, Jean. You could save it with a name if you wanted to, but then, you'd have a lot of Ronnies.
Nothing wrong with a lot of Ronnies.
No, but if you were saving something where you added, Merry Christmas text or something.
Yep.
And
Oh, that
Brent
makes
is
sense, yeah.
trimming it exactly how you shouldn't trim it. He's trimming it on his lap.
Yeah.
And he's got a big lap, so he'll be all right.
And I'm also using the wrong kind of scissors.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of
Doing-
stuff wrong
yeah,
here.
a lot of stuff wrong. when you trim in the hoop, you really want to put it on a flat surface.
With offset scissors.
Because I have seen, with offset scissors, I have seen stuff pop right out of the hoop when
Yep.
somebody's trimming it, and then guess what?
Can you go overhead just so we can show them? I mean, the trim job is awful. Don't look at that too. But you'll
Yeah.
see that
You
the
want it-
original placement stitch is a 1/4 inch out from the edge of our.
Isn't that magic? And because by default, every time you bring something in an embroidery to build your design, it automatically centers them. I forgot to mention that. So we didn't have to worry about centering anything.
Yeah.
We built our components over in Design Center, we saved them, and then we built this little thing in embroidery land.
I'm not sure how I feel about that being like, is that going to be all right, you think?
You'll be fine.
Okay, fine.
It's going to close it after anyway.
Well, I know, but
So
I've
now what it's doing is it's tacking down our fabric. You'll be fine.
I was going to say, have you seen what we've done so far, Danny?
In the
Do
fabric,
you really think we need to bother
The-
with tape at this
the
point?
fabric now is back to that large rectangle because that's going to tell me where I'm going to cut when I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is also my cut line. So my batting is not in my seam allowance because he's a 1/4 inch smaller.
And you might not have seen this, but I switched the foot height back to where it belongs before I started again. Because remember, we doubled the foot height so we could work with the wool?
Right, but I would have left it up because you're going to quilt that wool.
Okay, I'll put it back.
It should probably ride okay because you've got fabric on it now.
Yeah.
But my rule of thumb is I want my embroidery foot to skim my surface. And at that point, it's going to be pushing into your surface. To be skim. I'm gonna
So
skim my
because we're
surface.
Hold your finger in back and back of the foot.
Yeah.
It will skim it.
So I'm gonna go
Brent
back.
is telling me to put my fingers in the hoop and let it skim
So
my hand.
I just changed the height up a little bit because we want it to skim.
Okay, so now what it should be doing, if we built our pattern
And
right,
yeah, if you look at
is
the screen here, Eddie, for a second.
the crosshatch
We're
design.
on the crosshatch now.
You're right, Jean. I did save the design in
The
embroidery land with the
the
crosshatch
crosshatch.
in it.
Yes.
I saved everything but
You
the
go, Eddie,
name,
there you go.
so that I can just bring this design up again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And now it's doing the crosshatch. Isn't this
Yep.
cool?
I guess we could have used white or something other than green.
No, we
but-
want them to see it. That's another reason I didn't let you use my live one, because I'm using
Yeah.
silver metallic, which works beautifully, people. But
And-
everybody says, "How did you do that?"
Yeah.
You just did it.
Yeah, so
Isn't
that's
that cool?
so that's how you build the cuff for the stocking.
That-
And you can use this on any stocking. It doesn't have to be the Kimberbell stocking.
No, that was why I thought it was fun to show, and it doesn't have to be a cuff or stocking.
Yeah.
You think outside the box now. Guess what you just built?
You got the
And a different size.
yeah.
No.
You just built a mug rug.
You just built a mug rug. You did.
Oh my God, do I get a prize?
You did. And now if you wanted to, instead of adding a name, you wanted to bring in a different design, you did it. You just did it. And if you want to add something on the back and satin stitch around it, how do we do that? Another rectangle with a satin stitch instead of a straight stitch. A component.
Oh, I just thought of an idea.
A
of
component that I would have in Design Center.
Very
You could actually design.
Isn't it amazing? You just have to break it down in your head.
You could actually design like one of those bowl cozy things and have it do all the stitch lines for your stitching and everything,
Yes.
and do some fanciness,
Yeah,
and then just especially in the luminaire because the hoop's big enough to do a.
yeah.
I might have to do that because I need some bowl.
And
some
this
ice
is
cream and
without
bowl cozies.
without going out to any other software.
Yeah.
Something simple like this. You can break it down component-wise in your head. This isn't that hard.
So there you go.
Just isn't.
Are we gonna put Ronnie on there, or I think people get the idea?
Well, start it. Just start it. You
Okay,
don't have to
and then
finish
we-
it. I just
well-
want to prove it worked, even with Brent help assisting. Yes, Jean, he did need applique scissors. You're absolutely right.
But I got skills, so I just did it with the.
Yeah, those are
Super
not
I
the.
didn't realize what-
I like the double curved
Yes.
scissors. My.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. But I was already
those.
done trimming though.
Yeah, these are my favorites for trimming in the hoop. These guys.
Duckbill.
No,
These are not duckbill.
those are double
They're
curved.
called double curved because it's got this little curve here, so I really like it. So.
Okay.
All right.
So,
there
anyway.
goes Ronnie, but just proof that
Yeah.
it's really going
And
to
we
work.
we did that like in a half hour. We're almost on time.
And we were arguing the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
So, no.
Well, we got something done.
And then, just real quick, all I do is attach the flan, the cuff. I do it on the front. We would do one of these without the name for the back.
Yep.
Okay? So this is all attached. And then to do the lining, basically,
You take what's
it's almost cheating.
you just trace
I-
the stocking on
I
the
trace
fabric.
the stocking after the cuff is on it,
Yeah.
and then I attach the lining, the faces together. I attach the lining before I hook it up.
Yeah.
Sorry. I attach the lining on the top of my cuff, so I have a front with lining stretched out this way. I have
Yeah.
a back with cuff and lining stretched out this way. Put them face together, stitch all the way around, leave an opening at the toe, turn it,
And you-
stick the lining inside, close it,
Yeah.
stick the lining inside, and I'm done.
And that's stockings.
Done.
You leave the hole
Bottom of the foot.
Bah.
on the bottom of the foot or on the bottom of
The
the
lining.
lining foot?
Bottom of the lining foot. Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah.
The hole's at the bottom of the lining foot.
So you can hide it in the
So
bottom.
I can hide money in between the lining
Or
and
you
the
can
stocking.
or you can get a Hershey
and they're
Kiss.
like, I say, all your presents are in your stocking, and they're like, I literally have done that.
We found like a Hershey Kiss in a stocking once, and I don't know how long it had been there, but do you think that stopped us from eating it?
No.
Yeah. Was it still wrapped?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it had like
I
a weird
also
whiteness to it.
Quickly
because-
want to show how I do my hangers, because I do something different with hangers. I hate stockings that don't lie correctly on the mantle. I like them to all face forward and at the right angle. And if you just use regular ribbon, that ain't gonna happen. So what I like to do is hide
Up there more.
hide one of these little sticks, these little bread tags.
Bread tie, yeah.
You can also use a pipe cleaner. That would work too. And inside this, I have a little thing of fabric, and I have cut a little piece of batting. He hides in there. This guy goes in against the batting, and then I just fold it up and I stitch it closed. And then I have the ability to
Twist it and then
Do you
it'll.
half-ass anything?
I have the ability to
No,
make
that's
sure
what I'm
my
here for.
stocking hangs just the way I want it to.
Okay.
King Brent.
Oh, and this goes in, as you can see when I'm putting the
li-
lining.
That gets sewn into the lining.
Right, but see how this is why I call this a faux cuff? It's not a real cuff.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, on
That's
on that bombshell, thanks all for joining us for another fantastic morning of shenanigans with Becky and myself. We'll be here again next week,
maybe.
maybe.
No,
yeah, it's
we
kind of
won't.
close to. Yeah, we'll be here. The week after that, probably not, because we'll be on vacation.
We're on vacation. Heck no.
But thanks for joining us. So on.